Yeah, this year was really full of surprises for us. But anyway, we understand that everything changes so fast. But EWB is still continuing working and empowering teachers in Tajikistan. And as part of our EWB project, activities, we every week hold uh, Thursday webinars, and we call it investment time for teachers, when teachers invest their 1 hour time for their informal professional training and also learning firsthand experience from our speakers. And today I'm so excited to welcome our speaker today. And let me, yes, welcome our speaker today. Professor Alice Durgaryan, and she will deliver a webinar about 10 strategies that teachers can use tomorrow to make teaching easier and more fun. And for those of you who doesn't know about our speaker anything, I would like to mention that Alice was quite active with us in the past years, and we welcome her back to join our cohort of speakers. And Professor Alice Durgaryan is an international speaker and teacher trainer with a PhD in pedagogical science from the Abovian Armenian State Pedagogical University. And she also holds a master's degree in psychology and foreign languages. She works as an EFL teacher at Global Bridge School and as an ESL trainer with Skyeng, Spacey Online School, and DJ Online School. She is also a TOEFL IELTS trainer at TT SAS and a lecturer at ELTA University, Czech Republic, and IUAS, and a teacher trainer with Edu Armenia, the British Council Armenia, ITTI Armenia, and Huge Brain. Alice also participated as a speaker in numerous international conferences and educational projects, and is the author of multiple scientific articles in the fields of ELT and pedagogy. She is currently involved in several international projects and organizations, including HETT, Edu Armenia, and ELTA University. Committed to lifelong learning, she holds TESOL and TKT certifications and has completed programs in SATFL, American University of Armenia, Business English, and CLIL. She also serves as a country representative in international educational projects and is the president of Aspire Training and Development Research Company. And with great pleasure, I welcome everybody to EWB Thursday webinar, those who joined Zoom platform or who are watching us on Facebook. So please stay active and learn from this webinar, and also use your time to ask questions to our speaker today. And with great pleasure, I'm giving the floor to our speaker. Over to you, dear Alice. Welcome virtually to Tajikistan.
Yeah, I hope that next time it will be like face to face. Thank you. First of all, it's also honored because last 2 days when I was just making my like presentation, I just for a moment went back and saw that for 1 or 2 years we have been just collaborating, and I have had like sessions at AWB, and it was like a great pleasure just to at the end of the year just manage one more time just to connect with you and give. Our topic, I think that for today, it will be like really very interesting because everything is going just to be practical. Like it's the end of the year, like in many European countries, as for mine also, we are just we are on holiday here. And it will be just better to catch some practical tips, which we are going just to use them in January. I remember I have read somewhere that teachers, when they go to the seminars, they try to steal something, but it is not just going to be considered as a theft because it's a method, it's a strategy or something like practical tips that really we can, because we always just learn and teach, and at the same time we just it's, I think, endless process for us as a teacher. Because as for me, whenever I just go, like not only just having online sessions, but at the same time, I'm just having offline sessions and visiting other countries. I just try to catch something for me as a trainer too. So that's fine. Thank you. First of all, and it's really very great honor for me just to be here. And I see that some of the participants I have already known from other, like, yes, good evening, Paris. As from my other previous like trainings, I have had really. Okay, I think it's time for us just to go ahead. And is my screen visible for you?
Yes.
Uh, Today's topic is going to be really too practical for us, because we are going to talk about the 10 strategies that you can use tomorrow to make teaching easier and more fun. And any kind of strategy, I think that while I was just preparing this topic, there were a lot of like strategies, and it was really a little bit just difficult for me to choose the most effective ones. But I tried just to be in the framework of like 10 strategies and to go. And as you know, I always just try to be very practical in my case. And as always, I will start with a like icebreaker. And my question for you will be, teaching would be easier if in our chat box, I would ask our participants to write down a small phrase, a short phrase, like teaching would be easier if like I knew a lot of like methods as for me. Like about others, I would like you to write down in the chat box what comes to your mind the first case. And I will. Uh-huh. We have teacher learning is subject if you take it easy. I agree. If you feel free and confidence, love his subject. I think this is the most important because in this case you can overcome anything. Curriculum is oriented on students' interest. Yeah, thank you. Also, we have one more answer. If you plan your lesson, if you have motivated students, when people smile much, okay, classrooms were equipped with all necessary tools. Okay, here we have a lot of teacher cares would be easier if you love teacher and students. I agree really with all of you because it's really very important just to do. I have another one for you, like to go, and my next one will be like good teaching doesn't mean just doing more. It means doing less but doing better. I will bring just an example for you. Just imagine that in one lesson you bring 10 different activities and your students and you are really tough with it and very tired at the end of the lesson, but you bring instead of it two activities and you can manage and do it better. Just not like the quality is more important than quantity. This is in this case this one. But let's go and also know what is the hardest right now for teachers, for students, in many cases, what to do to go ahead. First of all, it's important, maybe engagement, what to do, especially nowadays when we have a lot of things, a lot of like devices, internet, information, endless information. And really, as a student, you should, as a teacher, do something just to engage your student and also their behavior. I think you will agree with me, especially if the classroom is like 40 students and it's really difficult a little bit just to control and at the same time to manage everything to be perfect in this case. And also time and workload, like the time, sometimes we have a lot of documentation just to fill in to work with the documentation, but instead of it, as the time goes and we have a lot to do. And also it's very important, like motivation, what kind of motivation you has as a teacher, and also what kind of motivation is there. Just I remember there was like a social ed Japanese, if I'm not mistaken, when the teacher is too tired, but every time before entering the classroom, he just artificially tries to smile and with a smile enters the classroom. I think in this case, it's important just to know. And these are the main sections that usually we as teachers just pay attention when we talk what it can be like hard is right now for us. And in many cases, when we talk about it, we just try to do everything to overcome it. And anything that we are going to do at the same time, we try to really be motivated. And why not? To do everything in order to uh, get as a enrichment, to get the result we really tend to have it before when we were planning, before our planning, etc. And let's go and a little bit pay attention what kind of like strategies. I'm going to share with you 10 strategies, which in my case, like I was trying just to pay attention what like not only just lesson planning, but at the same time trying to pay attention from different angles, like how can the students can be engaged, like in another point how the lesson can be planned, what methods, what strategies can be used to motivate and to make it. The first strategy that I paid attention is going to be the power of peer interaction. What does it mean? Firstly, when we talk about the power of peer interaction, we mean like what kind of interaction can be. This is going to be, as you know, 21st century is like a collaboration century. And at the same time, everything that we usually do, we just try to have with the students to make them, like as it is said in some cases, mm, like everything to be as a facilitator and make the student just do them, just create the atmosphere that can enforce like the students to start learning. And in this case, it's very important for the one because they develop different kinds of critical communicative skills, they collaborate, and at the same time they practice different kinds of conflict situation. They can manage time and why not solve the problems that is given in their from their point of view. Like, and what is most important here, we can use like the teamwork, which is very important because it's not only just the teamwork, but also like the stepping stone for them for integrating into the society in the future. As a different kind of like methods which can be used in the framework of this strategy can be the first one is jigsaw method. It's going to be like, for example, can be used in different sections, like what they can do and how we can teach. For example, mainly jigsaw we use while we having like reading, and in many cases when we talk about the when we talk about the like reading, we can just take any kind of text and divide into the groups and try to like to use the time effectively in a short time to have a lot of like solutions for it. Then the second one is going to be peer tutoring, when it's going just to be a peer work, but at the same time, like one gives hand to another. And in many cases, in this case, when peer tutoring can be like sometimes students who are very good at, for example, English language, we can ask another one to tutor and to help. Like later, I will talk about this strategy also. But in this case, they try just to help their friends to understand. And also about the group discussions and debates. These are like the most famous one among these three, because any kind of discussion, any kind of group work, it can be really very powerful for the students not to get in touch, to straighten their relationships while doing their tasks. But at the same time, it's a very good like way to give them a chance to share their ideas, just to develop their critical thinking and also to raise their voices, because in this case, they have all the opportunities just to do it. The next strategy is going to be like predictable routines, calmer classes. In this case, it's going to be usually such kind of ways we use when every time we have an opportunity to go, and at the same time we just try to have our daily routines. In many cases, we it can be ice breaker, it can be warm up, or like different kinds of leading activities that we use. And here I will bring you like a Model 3 teacher tested warm ups. Firstly, for example, it can be do now question. How is it worked? It can be worked like in two different ways. The first one, when the teacher gets an opportunity, like she or he asks the question to the student, and the second one, it can be vice versa, when for example, I can just show a picture and ask the students, what do you see in this picture? Or what is your first idea? What do you think the topic can be about? Like, or what is the topic of this picture, etc. Like opinion, any kind of review, any kind of idea or brainstorming ideas, everything can be brought here. And in many cases, this is something that can like do a brainstorming. And in many cases, it can be like something that we really use. The second point that we usually go is going spot the mistake. Usually is this one can be like again a brainstorming or something, or spot a mistake we can use whenever we want just to pay attention to like a grammar tense, or maybe other rules that we want to revise, or even for example when you have individual work like an activity, you say you are going just to do this activity individually. Now the second step, please change your like tasks, like your copybooks with your peer and check them. This is another one, like spot the mistakes, especially if they have different answers. This is a good way just to try to compare, and through the at the end of the like a comparison, just try to find out the solution, give the right form, etc. And also, this is another one is going to be like a 2-minute retrieval. In this case, we just try to show how it can be like any kind of activity, or it can be like be used at the end of the lesson just as a conclusion. Yeah, we just not to do everything, and just not to have ordinary lesson, but at the same time we just try to have everything according to our plan, but the conclusion should be some kind of impressive, just not to give the material to the student, but at the same time just try to have something that you really can be like impressive and memorable for the students. And also make any lesson more fun. No tech needed. How is it? Like this teacher should be like, first of all, like a magician with a magic like stick in his or her hand. And every time when we just try to build like trust and also relevance, and in many cases we can just do something that is really very important for us. And while planning the lessons, we don't need to go into like we should just do something online or bring any kind of activity, or in order just to use the technology, because every day it is said that in 21st century we should use like technology, etc. No, besides it, we should just try to think of another thing, because technology, it's technology, but it's not like sometimes it can really be a failure for us, like the internet, or the students are not just used to use it, and different kinds of like problems. And at the same time, everything can be brought in this case to show that we should not just always just rely on, and what we can do, any kind of lesson that can be really more fun, and we don't need any kind of like them. The first one is teach, still defend. This is one. In this case, whenever we just talk, we just try to use what we can. Any kind of, for example, I remember when I was working at the state school, sometimes it doesn't matter that I was teaching at high and middle school. I was trying just to go and observe some lessons from elementary school, like language lessons. It can be mathematics, or sometimes even in middle school. I just went to physics, chemistry, etc. I was just trying to still, let me say, some methods which can be really, I could just adapt them and bring to my ESL just lessons. And it was really, and in many cases, I could just do. Nowadays, I think many teachers, especially if you have task-based learning or maybe, for example, project-based learning, in many cases, you have an opportunity to connect, not only do your project in the framework only just English, but also like connected with history, with geography. Even I remember there was an even with mathematics or like language, any kind of like you could find some like common borders with other subjects and bring them and try to have them. And also beat the teachers. This is very interesting strategy and method, but at the same time, it's a little bit tricky one, depending on what kind of instruction. It can be anything like starting from the grammar rules up to other ones. Like, for example, you can come about like with a student saying like, we are going just to answer these quiz questions. You are going just not to compete with like the with the technology, but you are going to be with me as a teacher and make some kinds of like who will be winner, in what cases will be winner, and what is going to do the team who is going just to lose, etc. This is interesting, but sometimes, like when we say beat the teachers, it doesn't mean that we should just directly just have it. Just you can just use and form your own like instructions to play this game. And also like 10-point challenge. Like at the end of, usually this method can be used at the beginning of the year. Like when you enter a new classroom, you can make a 10-point challenge like rules. Like if someone is going just to, I don't know, come fail the test, it will be like this one: set up some kinds of rules and what we are going just to work. Or maybe at the end of the year, our challenge will be the first one, just to know so many words. Second one, like give a 10-point challenge, and the whole plan, the whole teaching, the whole learning process will be just directly just go to gone to this realize this 10-point challenge. And in many cases, whenever we have, I think it's a good because it will motivate the students, especially when we put a 10-point challenge. It's very important just to, at the beginning, to give the students opportunity to be aware of the outcomes, what kind of outcomes it should be at the end of it. And I think it's another just point for them to be motivated and to go ahead. And next one is going stop re-explaining. Make students do it. This is autonomy. And in many cases, it's going to be like the main role goes to the students who can be, in this case, like in some cases, the ones who will teach, etc. The first message is going to be turn and teach. How it works. And in many cases, just we try to ask, please like you are going just to explain your friend, your peer, what like past tense is and or what the formula is for to form past tense, etc. Like it's like something when you give autonomy to your students and give freedom, and they can help each other just to understand the role. The next one is going just to be explained in another way. How is it? Sometimes we, according to the grammar books, we give like past tense is the action, for example, that usually is a finished action or just something that happened in the past, etc. But this is like formal part, and then we say, okay, the student says, sorry, but I really didn't get. And I say, okay, I will explain in another way. Past tense is something that you did yesterday, like a week ago, etc., etc. Let's remember your last birthday. When was it? where did you celebrate, etc. When I was giving such kind of in another way, like bringing into life and trying just not only just to avoid of the formal like explanation of them, but at the same time bringing like explain everything in another like way. At the same time on a different like platform or on different variant, etc. And it will be really helpful for them. And also sometimes, okay, let's remember what, I don't know, future tense or future actions can be. And we are just making a mapping on the board. And I say, who can add? Like in this case, don't go only just asking one student, two students. No, like every time we are just asking the students to tell a lot of, and every time any kind of ideas. Or I'm going just to explore a topic. And at the beginning, I want to do like brainstorming. And in this case, it's very important, like to know what is it there. And in this case, it's very important, like to give many different kinds of brainstorming ideas. Now, I will go back one more time to give you like the first one was the power of pure interaction. Second one was predictable routines. The third one was make lesson more fun. The next one is stop re-explaining. These are four strategies that I have shared you. Now, for a moment, imagine that you tomorrow have an opportunity to go to school. Let's avoid of like holidays, we have to go to school. Now, I would like you in our chat box one more time. Um, which strategy would you like to use from this four strategy to change your lesson format? Please go. Choose one of the strategies that I have given you. I have given you the first four strategies, but from 5 to 10, I'm going a little bit later to give you. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of comments here. Start doing task-based learning. Okay, peer. The last one. Okay. I agree. Honestly, one of the comments, Usmonova here has don't use PPT. I never use PPT for my lessons if it's not online. Re-explaining defeats the teacher. Okay, thank you. I think that they're all everything we can just use in this case, and in many cases we can really have. Um, okay, here also we will continue because I'm going to give you others too, more strategies, not this for one, because I would like to use all of them in my everyday classroom. Okay, let's go. Thank you for your comments that we have. Um, yes, Nadia, I agree with you that everything should be challenging. Honestly, when I was working at the state school, I was having my plan. Like as a teacher every day, yes, ordinary, we just make our plans. But I never opened my planning, let me say, diary. And because I know that it won't just motivate me as a teacher, I was just trying just to not to use this plan. I just know the topic and I was trying really just to challenge my students because I could just engage and have a lot of things in my planning, but on that day, maybe something goes wrong and I can't really use this one. That's why, like a formality, I always had my um, like plan when I was at state school, but I honestly I had never just used it because at that time I was just concentrating to motivate to challenge my students more attentive and more interesting just for them to have it. That's why it's very important just in many cases to have it like a formality, but just be exchanging and at the same time be challenging for the student. The next one is going to be connect the content to their lives. It's important like to have problem-based scenarios or real-world connections or invite guest speakers, etc. It's very important like when you talk a lot of things, but there is no, sometimes the student can have no imaginary what is going on and how it can be done. And in other case, or it can't be done like something that in another format. And but when you just connect everything with the real world connection, it will be in another format and it will be really very helpful. Now I will share a small video with you. This video, this method, it is called as follow the instructions and draw. It was, I used this method when I was in Thailand and in one of the Thai schools. And my instruction for the students was just to listen to my instructions, and our topic was about the body parts. And the main like purpose was to develop listening and speaking skills, because the first part of the one, it was that the students were just trying to listen to me and at the same time trying to follow the instructions. The second part was that after doing the task, they had just to also explain what they have. We will watch like a short episode from this part. It's a little bit long video, but I'm just going to have. This is from an example from Thai. I just took the video about maybe 1 month ago when I was in Thailand and was running just demo lessons for Thai teachers. Let's watch.
Small ears, then can you give me? You have head, big head, you have small ears, then my hero has big eyes, big eyes, big eyes, yes, big eyes. Uh-huh. Big eyes, eyes. Yeah, big eyes, big eyes. Draw big eyes. Oh, very super. Uh-huh, big eyes. Then my hero has small nose. Small nose. Small nose. Small nose. And my hero has big mouth. Big mouth. Big mouth.
It was like a part of this. It's a long video, but I was just I wanted just to show you that really it's very important about everything. Like you try to connect with the real life because in this case, my students like demo lesson Thai students, they were just everything trying. Sometimes there were students who were having just difficulties with and when just visually they try to have. And what was interesting, sometimes they tried just to said that it's the like they had taken this hero from this cartoon or the film or like connecting it with some kind of like animal, etc. It was really interesting, but at the same time, the most enjoyable and fun was when they were just trying to represent like what they have. Like one thing is when they have an opportunity just to go and uh, show like um, what they have heard, but at the same time, it's another thing where they have just to uh, represent what their product in this case. And it was really and something that It was really fun. For example, here I have also included invite guest speakers when their teacher is another person, not their everyday teacher, but totally another one. And when having such kind of demo lessons in different kinds of schools, it's really fun because for students, it's something new strategy, and they try to compare their teacher and the new teacher, let's say, and it's they try also to take some manners from the guest speaker about his or her manner, behavior, speech, etc. And later also why it's some kind of like a little bit change, another format of their everyday school, etc. It's very important. Now, the next one is going to be like movement without losing control. This is something that sometimes, especially like imagine your working day when you are at your last lesson. You are really very tired, and you want, but at the same time you are going just not to lose yourself, your one. And in this case, you have just to make some kind of fun for your students. The first like method, or let's say task activity, you can use stand and sit, agree or disagree. If it's really too hard for you just to concentrate for 2 minutes, you can have a break. Okay, students, we are going just to have this topic. Do you agree or disagree? The ones who agree, they are going to stand up. The ones who disagree, they are going just to sit down and make some kind of fun for them to go and a little bit just change their routine. Walk and talk. This is another format. For example, this is going to be like, how is it like? You are going to be a philosopher and your topic is this one. What do you think? Please come to the board. You are freedom. You can walk. You can talk. Is it? It is the same one as teachers. Yes, there are like teachers who like to sit at their desk and not to move, and there are teachers who like always just to walk and talk, and the students like try to remember their teachers in this format, and also they try just to imitate the same manner and to use it. This is another format. And also for corners, when you have a topic and you ask for a different. For example, my topic is New Year. One group will read the text. Second group will draw. Third group will, I don't know, have a performance about New Year. Fourth group, maybe the fourth group will bring some kind of interesting facts about New Year's, like the same topic from different points. Or if I want to describe a hero of my, I don't know, text that I had, I can just negative, positive, like another ending, or what will it give? Like from different angles, we can discuss, and it can bring like as a teacher, not to lose your control, to be on the same, and at the same time try to work and be there. The next one is going to be from tool to transformational catalyst. This is going to be like about how 21st century is going to be with me, how I can use. The first one is going to be collaborative digital tools. I think majority of you have used learning apps, you have used Kahoot, Wordboard, etc. There are plenty of them, or for discussions, maybe the Padlet or Miro or other like different kinds of platforms that can be really helpful for you, not only to plan your lesson, not only just to include different kinds of online lessons, but and activities, but at the same time, go to the gamification. And in this case, when we talk about the gamification, it can be starting from the board games, like with the flashcards, with the crosswords, puzzles, or maybe bingo even, or Monopoly. Have you like ever sort of like creating your own Monopoly where you can use the vocabulary, the topic that you are observing, and make a Monopoly with the students using on the using like the vocabulary of the units that you have passed. And also up to online games. There are a lot of games, and in many cases, like some even language apps like Duolingo or Azures or maybe Storyboard, etc. It allows you use the technology to create something. For example, in Storyboard, we usually can create an album or a journal or some kinds of interesting facts like a paper, like a presentation, and represent it. Like it can be even sometimes many students, they are really very good at making Kahoot games for others or making like creating puzzles or crosswords and any kind of vocabulary you can ask even your students, like the word with their definition or through the flashcards or something like it, you can really use in order to bring the material to represent it in another format. And everything that you are going just to do, first of all, you are going just to use them from another point of view. And also, it's very important, like virtual field trips. Um, Sometimes, when I have an interesting topic and I can really find a very interesting video, I'm going just to share with my students or we will watch together. Like recently, for example, in one of the class, we have read about the Charlotte's Adventures and then we tried to watch and then compare what the book was, like what the film was, make some comparison. Is it the same one as the book is, etc. This is like, or I remember when COVID-19 like started, many museums were closed, and instead of like face-to-face like visits to the museums, they brought to the virtual trips, and they started up a new program which allowed them just to enter online to the museum, be in all halls, be in all halls, and to see all the, even you can't like, you don't have an opportunity just to go to Louvre or other museums, but it all these museums, like majority of the museums of the world, they gave you an opportunity just to visit and uh, just to be there to see everything like online. That's why it's very important in this case to have it. And sometimes, for example, if your topic is about the traveling, you can just have some videos or even ask your students to make such kind of videos, just making films or through the photos, through the like everything, just to make a video and virtually you can just have your trip. Depending on the topic, I think as a teacher, we can just do it. The next one is going just to engage everyone without calling on hands. In many cases, for example, as for me, I don't like just to say, and you are going just to answer, or Tom, you are going. No, I like to give freedom to the students. But it doesn't mean that the passive one shouldn't answer and the active one shouldn't answer. When I was in Indonesia, I was running a demo lesson for 70 students. At first, it was easy for them because they said that I don't know their names. I'm not going to ask. But as my session was practical demo lesson, I was trying to engage all the students at the same time, making different kinds of group works or peer works, etc. And it really just engaged the students because in this case, they were really very pleased. But at the same time, when I was saying like we are going to play a game, they were already just worried who is going to be because they know that I don't know their names, but I'm going just randomly just to choose the student. This is important. For engaging, it doesn't matter. You should definitely just with the names. You can just use the ones who are going just to be in the group one. Please just show me your thumb. The ones who are like in group, I don't know, you are going just to sit, to stand, etc. Give some interesting instruction or mini whiteboards and papers. We can sometimes in order just to true or false, for example, you can use two colors like yellow and I don't know, red. And after reading, instead of reading, please the student, You read the first one and just show me the card. Is it true or false? And through the colors, it's very interesting. Or through the figures, through the like different kinds of symbols, you can use them. And also with the ABCD responses, like I can just go with the name. Now we are going just to ask the A group, B group, C group, or the ones whose name starts with A. You are going just this make different kinds of groups. Depending on how you are going, you can use another format, which can be really like a different one. And also key lessons that students can run themselves. This is another format when the students get an opportunity to do now. And they can have short teach, they can have practice, share, and exit. Sometimes I give my students an opportunity to run the lesson, but not the whole lesson, maybe a part, like 21 half or maybe one fourth part of the lesson, just asking the student you can prepare beforehand and make something our topic will be like give the topic and think of an activity that you would like just to run to have and also give the student an opportunity to do this task, to do this activity with his or her friends and be as a teacher, be as a facilitator in this case. And it's really fun for them because sometimes I think they, depending on their experience, it can be really different fun. And sometimes they don't even manage just how to do it, what kind of, or totally do in another format. And the lesson is not like a lesson, it's more like a gamification than the lesson. This is also sometimes when they are in the role of teacher, they try to just become more serious and at the same time try to do everything and end lessons positively, even on tough days. Just you can have one summer. What was the topic of our lesson in one word? Or emoji, just show me. I don't know why you sometimes when I check my students' tests, I just tick them a small emoji. Happy, sad, like disappointed, or something. I always draw these emojis, or even always just give a feedback. Thanks, like one very short feedback, because the end, what they get and see, or at the end, I just try to give them some emojis which really helpful for them and give an opportunity sometimes. And in some classes or in some tasks, when I don't give any kind of like reactions, they say, okay, what's the reaction? Is it good or is it bad? Because they have just got used to having these emojis. And in many cases, it's really helpful. Or what would you tell? Or imagine you today when you go home, what will you tell your mom or dad about our lesson? Like something that is really helpful for the students. Now, we have a lot of strategies, and I think in many cases, these strategies can be really helpful for you, that you can use this strategy, and at the same time, these kinds of strategies try to be more and more practical. These were the 10 strategies that I have shared with you, but at the same time, I have prepared some activities which can make your lessons really fun. The first one is mystery picture sound. We can show like a short part of it and who, where, what's happening, or build like a vocabulary. For example, in this case, the students should just be very attentive. For example, this part, or in some cases like this one or this one. Sometimes it takes really very hard time just for them to guess. Or these kinds of pictures, as a teacher, we can create according to our vocabulary. If my vocabulary is going to be like animals, something like it, or if it's about the adjectives, again, I can have some images or pictures which can be really helpful for them to go ahead and have them. Another format is a role play with a twist, like give roles, journalists, detectives. We're going just to do some work. As a teacher, we give the instruction. Then after it, we when they are half of the way of their like work, we can now imagine that you at this moment you got very angry as a journalist. What will be your answer, or what you will do, or speak or act when you are very surprised or when you are very happy, etc. Like give a role, but then just twist it to another one at in the middle of it, just checking the reaction, how they can just solve the problem and get out such kind of dangerous things. And also next one is story cubes are like random prompts when we roll. Here I have brought you some roles. For example, if I could fly, I would. Or the movie I like best is about. Such kind of things which really are helpful for them just to go. I think in the framework of this task, we can have like find somebody who and give some kind of prompt. They have just to go find among their friends, like who is the prettiest, who is the tallest, I don't know, who likes ice cream, etc. And then at the end, when you conclude, you can ask who was the person who liked it. They had just to remember and tell the student's name, etc. But this one, like such kind of cubes, you can use when you enter for the classroom for the first time, and you can enter like any kind of questions that you are really interested in, and it can be like a brainstorming activity to get acquainted with the students. And also vocabulary carries Pictionary, where you can draw or act words instead of translating. For example, if my word is, I don't know, happy, I can just show on my face happiness, and they should join, or they can through the pictures, they can be. It's very important and at the same time very useful what kind of like activities you have used in your, because in this case it will be really helpful for them. Or just use meme or emoji response, like you summarize the text and at the same time you try to give like imaginary or the resolution or the like in one word, in one picture, try to draw and represent what is it. And in many cases, it doesn't matter what you use. The first and number one thing is, as a teacher, in one moment to be a student and see. And because if the lesson is interesting, the planned like in an effective way, it will really not only motivate the students but also motivate the teachers. Yes, because when we see that we work a lot, but there is no result, we are really disappointed. But when the vice versa, sometimes when you go out of the classroom and try to analyze yourself, okay, how was my teaching day today? Like 5A, I don't know, 9B, etc. And you try just to analyze and see in what classroom which methods has worked and how who were like motivated, who weren't. And while analyzing, you can just have a feedback and it will be really helpful for you. Thank you. This is all from me. I hope that all the strategies and activities that I have shared here will be really helpful for you and you are going just to use them later in your lessons. And I will be really glad if you share also some feedback after using one of these strategies.
Yeah, thank you so much, dear Professor Alisa Durgaryan. It was quite informative and insightful. Like, thank you for bringing the richness of your experience. It was really great. We can see so many comments in the comment box, in the chat box. And we also have a couple of questions. I think some of the questions have been already addressed, but anyway, yeah, so how do you adapt your teaching strategies to different learning styles of your students?
Yeah, thanks for the question. It's really, yeah, depending on what kind of any kind of strategy, even all the strategies that I have represented here, it doesn't mean that everything should work like for the same class. The same plan, I think, as a teacher, if you have like 4 7th grade classes, like in every classroom, you can't use the same one. Usually, depending on the like learners motivation, learners level, language level, and also depending on the students like learners' interest, you can adapt. For example, jigsaw method can be like very interesting for the middle school, but in high school, sometimes it can't work for us. Or when I have shared a video about the body, I think that when we are working with elementary school, it's really very interesting one. But like for the fifth or sixth grade, it's not so interesting because they have already known about it. It will be like another one, like or drawing, like on the back. This is another method. Like depending on the classroom needs. Let's say we as teachers, we always do needs analysis, and accordingly we can choose how to adapt and which one. And as at the beginning I have shared with you, it doesn't matter what we teach. Is the matter is to teach better. That's why don't include a lot of things and bring no. And depending on which one will be really working one for your classroom, you should just adapt or just use this one. But for another classroom, maybe it's not working one, and you can choose another strategy in this case.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think we can also afford one more question. So this comes from Tahmina Solevi. She's asking, how do you handle student shyness during movement-based tasks like stand and sit or walk and talk? So what
Mm.
do you do?
It's very interesting. I will bring an example for you. In Indonesia, in one of the colleges, I was running an activity, which was like to work with the groups, and they have just to one. They had one word, and they were just standing, and everyone what heard the first word. He was just drawing on the one who is standing in front of him, and this person what he or she understands draws. It was very fun because there were some students who were really shy, even didn't want just to draw. What we did in this case, we gave another role. He was going just to be one who is going just to check, to control everything. And as a like controller at the end, we gave like a voice, let's say, to this student to analyze, to represent how it works, what was bad, what was good with this group. Like with the shy students, we should be very careful because it depends on why they are shy. They don't know the language, they don't have like the vocabulary. It's like psychologically they are very shy, or they are afraid of being mistaken, depending on what's the matter with it. Because some students, they are really shy because they think that they can be just mistaken and everyone can laugh if they just don't pronounce. In this case, just give like confidence to the student, talk as you want. Now, the task is not like correcting you as a student. The task is just to listen to you. We are not going to interrupt you. It doesn't matter with the mistakes because in speaking, firstly, it goes to speak. Maybe with the mistakes, later we will work on mistakes too. But the first thing, it goes just to make them speak, and it doesn't matter because I think being as an English teacher, we had a lot of opportunities, yes, to communicate with different nationalities. And on the international platform, nobody pays attention to your accent, to your pronunciation, to your grammar mistakes, because the main like point is communication. And in many schools, when sorry, when they start learning English language, they always choose communication approach. This is important.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I also remember some of my students were from other countries, and some of them were really shy. And later, I found out that also that's because of their cultural background. Like, they are very shy, and they're like, but they were very good in written tasks, yeah, and that was another way that how you can check their comprehension, how you can check like their process and progress of learning language. Okay, so one more question. So I think Tahmina is very active by asking so many questions. She's asking, when students summarize a text using emojis, what criteria do you use to grade their explanation in English?
Depending on always it's a speaking task or writing task, we always have a rubric. Yes. In rubric, depending on what is necessary, like to check vocabulary, to check pronunciation, to check the cohesion and coherence, depending on it, we can just have some kinds of rubrics. And when we talk about the having like the text in images, it's very important. A few years ago, when I was working at the state school, every time when we were having a text in the next lesson, my task was like to help my student retell the task, what I was going, in this case, what I did. Firstly, I was asking them questions. They were giving me, and I was trying to create mapping, like prince, goes, met, etc. And on the board, we always having the whole story with emojis, with pictures, with mapping. And after having the whole story, they not only just like revise the story, but at the same time, it was like a cheating paper for them because with the images, with different kind of like house, ship, car, I don't know, everything we were just drawing. And at the end, we really had a very good story. And one point for assessing was it how they retell. The another point can be vocabulary. The another point can be like the meaning of the text. It depends on the grade. It depends on the level of the language because like if my students are beginners, it doesn't matter like that I'm going just to focus on the vocabulary that they should use like necessary a lot of words. No, my main task will go and assess for their coherence and cohesion because what is the meaning of the text? This is how they can speak, how they can represent the topic. And the rubric, it's up to the teacher and they can just create their own rubric. What, like, in what case, like 5, in what case, 4, in what case, 3, etc. And what also the points, the score, and at the same time, let me say, the parts of your rubric, it depends on the teacher, depending what task is going just to be solved in the framework of it.
Thank you. Thank you, Lisa. So we have one more question. I guess like, we are going beyond our time, but anyway, let's go with one question. So Nata from Georgia, she's asking, how do you make shy ones and those with lack of confidence speak in front of the audience? And how do you check mistakes? How do you assess and give feedback?
First of all, try students we can use like making presentations, for example, about the topic or about the unit topic, or making like film like short videos, or just have picture description for assessing them, first of all, about the mistakes, how we correct, depending on what level the student is. For example, I can use my 5-finger method. Imagine my student said, she have many friends. This is with a mistake. And I want the time when the student is speaking, I'm not going just in some strategies like methodological, just approaches say that if it's beginner, we should just at the same say she has like going it. But I will find and go to another one because if I interrupt, and especially my student is shy one, if I interrupt, it's going just to block the student and she or he is not going just to tell. At the end of it, I will say, okay, thanks, like Nadia, let's go and revise what you have. And I heard that you have many friends like this one. And I will start. She have, and she will say like, yes, she have many friends. And I say, she have one more time, I will just ask you have or has, depending on the level. If it's beginner, I will give second option just to assure the students that there is a mistake and there I'm giving you 2 options and let's choose which one. But if the higher level, I will go she, have, just every time just pointing my finger, just showing my students that there is a mistake. Or if there was like she has much friends, in this case, I will just show this one. Like visually, I will try. Or in another format, like let's together like revise the present simple tense and bring one correct, one mistaken like sentence. Let's go and revise. Let's together analyze the formula of present simple, and together while analyzing come how is it, it's called inductive and deductive method in pedagogy, when you from the smallest go to the and get the formula, and when you have inductive from the like examples, you go to the rule, like choose I think the appropriate tactic in order just to go and show the students which way will work in your everything. I think first of all it depends on the classroom, on the students, and on the material how you can do. That's why as a teacher you should be just uh, like explorer, endless explorer, and at the same time scientist making new inventions for the students.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Dear Alyssa, like, I would suggest, like, we have so many questions left. I would suggest, those attendees who just put their questions in this chat box to copy them and put them on our Facebook page under the Alicia's, like, poster. And I
Yeah.
hope, yeah, as soon as you put your questions there, she will be able at least like, to give brief response and maybe just, to paste some links for more explanation of that one. Because, yeah, our time is running out. And therefore, like, yeah, I would kindly ask everyone to copy your questions and put it under the Alicia's post on EWB social media Facebook page. And I hope that Alicia can find time to respond to those questions. Once again, thank you so much, Dr. Elisa Durgaryan. It was really great, and we welcome you to do more webinars with EWB in 2026. And of course, yeah, we will be happy to host you again, not virtually, but also in person, yeah, during the
Yeah.
EWB conference next year. So, yeah, please stay active with us, and of course, we will be happy to host you. Dear
Yeah.
all, once again, thank you, dear participants, for staying active, for being inquisitive teachers, for learning, for investing your time into your professional development. We really appreciate everything. And using the moment, I would like to to say happy upcoming new year to everybody. And yeah, may prosperity, good health, happiness, and success accompany you in 2026. And happy upcoming new year to everybody. Thank you so much. And Merry Christmas as well for those of you who celebrate Christmas around the globe. And of course, Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Happy Merry Christmas to everyone, and see you in 2026 face to face already.
Yes, inshallah, inshallah. Thank you so much. Have
Thank
a great
you.
evening, dear all, and thank you so much for joining this
Thank you.
webinar. Yeah, see you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Bye bye.